In the heart of ancient Egypt, where the mighty Nile flows like the blood of the land, a woman was born who would change the course of history, a woman whose name would echo through the ages, whose beauty, intelligence, and ambition would make her a legend. She was Cleopatra VII, a queen, a lover, a mother, and a master of power. Her story is not just one of riches and splendor, it's a tale of survival, of cunning, and of extraordinary strength in a world ruled by men. Cleopatra was born in 69 BCE during a time of great unrest in Egypt. The Ptolemaic dynasty, established by one of Alexander the Great's generals, was in turmoil. The once mighty empire was struggling with internal strife, and the throne was in constant danger of being usurped. Cleopatra's birth was not the start of a golden age, but rather the beginning of a survival story, a story that would span kingdoms, cultures, and continents. She was born into a family of rulers who were Greek, not Egyptian. Her father, Ptolemy XII, was a weak and ineffective king, more concerned with his personal luxuries than the welfare of his kingdom. His reign was deeply unpopular, and Cleopatra's own position was not secure. The throne was shared by Cleopatra and her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII. But even at a young age, Cleopatra showed signs of the fierce intelligence that would come to define her. Unlike many of her Ptolemaic predecessors, Cleopatra was not content to live in the shadow of others. She was ambitious, educated, and fluent in multiple languages, including Egyptian, a tongue that no Ptolemaic ruler had spoken for over 300 years. She made it clear that she was not just a figurehead, she was a leader. When Cleopatra's father died in 51 BCE, she was just 18, with her brother Ptolemy XIII being a child of about 10 years old. The throne was thrown into a bitter power struggle. Cleopatra, now queen, quickly found herself in a dangerous game of politics. The court was divided. One faction supported Cleopatra, while another championed her brother's claim to the throne. Cleopatra's first act of political maneuvering was a bold one. To secure her throne, she decided to seek help from the most powerful man in the world at the time, the Roman general Julius Caesar. But how could she make him listen? How could she gain his favor? In 48 BCE, Cleopatra made a move that would become the stuff of legend. She had herself smuggled into Caesar's presence, hidden inside a rug, and unrolled before him in his palace. This audacious entrance left Caesar stunned, but intrigued. Cleopatra, ever the brilliant strategist, knew that to survive, she needed Rome's power. She needed Caesar's trust. Caesar was captivated by Cleopatra's wit, intelligence, and determination. Their alliance was soon cemented not only in political terms, but also in a passionate romance. Cleopatra had successfully navigated the treacherous waters of the Roman Republic. With Caesar's support, she was able to defeat her brother and claim sole control of the throne. Cleopatra's reign, now undisputed, began to shine. But her political and personal relationship with Caesar would soon have profound consequences. In 47 BCE, Cleopatra gave birth to a son, Caesarion, whom she claimed was the son of Julius Caesar himself. Rome was beginning to take notice. Cleopatra's grip on power was tightening. However, Caesar's growing ties with Cleopatra sparked outrage back in Rome. His enemies, alarmed by his Egyptian alliance, saw it as a threat to the Roman Republic. In 44 BCE, Julius Caesar was assassinated by a group of senators, and Cleopatra's world was once again thrown into chaos. But Cleopatra, ever resourceful, knew that her survival depended on Rome. The assassination of Caesar left a power vacuum that would soon be filled by two of Rome's greatest figures, Mark Antony and Octavian. Mark Antony, one of Caesar's most trusted generals, arrived in the East in 41 BCE to solidify Rome's power in the region. It was here that Antony met Cleopatra. Their first encounter would mark the beginning of one of history's most famous love affairs. But it was more than just love, it was a calculated alliance. Antony and Cleopatra's relationship was a political alliance as much as a romance. Together, they hoped to challenge the rising power of Octavian, the future Emperor Augustus. Cleopatra, by now, had become not just a lover to Antony, but his partner in arms, helping him secure military victories in the East. In return, Cleopatra secured her position as the Queen of Egypt, and more importantly, as a key player in the future of Rome. By 40 BCE, Cleopatra had borne Antony 3 children, Caesarion and twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene. The family they formed was a testament to the ambition and power they wielded together. But back in Rome, Octavian was becoming ever more powerful, and he viewed the growing influence of Antony and Cleopatra as a direct threat to his own ambitions. The rivalry between Octavian and Antony came to a head in 31 BCE, with the two forces clashing at the Battle of Actium. Despite Cleopatra and Antony's combined fleet, they were decisively defeated by Octavian's forces. The outcome would change the fate of Egypt forever. In the wake of their defeat, Antony and Cleopatra retreated to Egypt. The once mighty rulers now faced an inevitable end. In 30 BCE, with Octavian's forces closing in, Antony and Cleopatra chose death over submission. Antony, believing Cleopatra had already died, fell on his own sword. When Cleopatra learned of his death, she too chose to take her life. She allowed herself to be bitten by an asp, a symbolic end for a queen who had played a masterful game of politics, love, and war. Cleopatra's death marked the end of the Ptolemaic dynasty and the final chapter of an independent Egypt. It also signaled the rise of Rome as the uncontested power of the ancient world. Though her reign ended in tragedy, Cleopatra's legacy lives on. She was not just a beautiful queen, she was a brilliant strategist, a fierce protector of her kingdom, and a woman whose ambition and intellect shaped the course of history. Today, Cleopatra's story continues to captivate the world. She is remembered not only for her beauty, but for her extraordinary mind, her resilience, and her ability to command the greatest empires of the ancient world. Cleopatra's life was one of triumph, defeat, and ultimately immortality. Her name remains forever etched in the annals of history, a testament to the power of a woman who dared to rule the world.